Hello again. Because I seldom take anything at face value, I have been looking at another of those charities which are trying to stop the flight to Rwanda this evening, which will take failed asylum seekers to the African country where they will be able to perhaps make new lives for themselves. I'm sure that many viewers will have seen that an outfit called Care4Calais has been battling in the courts and trying to sabotage the plan to send refugees to Rwanda. Who exactly are Care4Calais and what do they do? Where does their money come from? Whenever somebody refuses to say what they are doing, I generally assume they're up to no good. As a rough rule of thumb, this principle has served me well over the years. The more shifty and evasive an individual or organisation is, and the more reluctant are they to say what they're actually up to, then the greater the chance that something fishy is going on. I have in front of me the report of the trustees of Care4Calais, signed September the 30th, 2020. They say that they began operations in the UK in July that year, just a couple of months earlier, but that when they get going they had some really exciting plans. What are these plans? What have they been up to since September 2020? I quote what the trustees said at the time. Plans for the future. The move to operating in the UK has driven significant growth in on-the-ground operations of the charity. In the medium terms, efforts will be focused on embedding appropriate systems and procedures within the UK charity staff and volunteer development and training, and maintaining the focus of the charity on its core objectives of delivering what the refugees need the most and being there for them no matter what the challenges are. There, I hope you know now what Care4Calais are up to. This vague waffle aroused my liveliest suspicions that here are a bunch of people who don't want to tell people what they're up to. Lest viewers think this is just me and my usual cynicism, I will mention that a couple of weeks before that guff was composed, the Charity Commission launched an inquiry into Care4Calais to examine matters including whether there had been mismanagement and or misconduct in the administration of the charity by the trustees, to look at the trustees' responses to the Commission's request for information and whether or not the charity has followed its regulatory advice and guidance, to examine the charity's financial controls and also to have a look at their safeguarding policies. This investigation is still going on, and I give a link in the description to this video to the announcement about it from the government website. It started off as a bit of a fishing expedition, but after a year the Charity Commission announced it was widening the scope of the investigation and making it into a statutory inquiry because what they had found had led to potential further problems, including around implementing adequate financial controls. This is code for, well, I had best not prejudice the investigations by spelling out the case too plainly, but astute viewers will, I'd say that it was in problems around implementing adequate financial controls, perhaps be able to work out for themselves what's going on here. What is plain is that this charity has an income of almost £1 million a year, but I haven't been able to find out where it's coming from. When I looked a while ago at another charity mixed up in the Rwanda business, Detention Action, I found that their money was coming from big grant-making bodies such as the Roundtree Foundation, but that doesn't seem to be the case with Care4Calais. It seems that members of the public send them £1 million or so a year. There's something a little odd about all this, and since this charity is right at the forefront of the efforts to frustrate the removal of illegal immigrants, I think we're entitled to ask searching questions about who is funding them and what they're actually up to.